the doors being closed, but a lot right when the doors got closed. I sensed it in the context of the Lord kept warning me, kept saying to me that the people were backsliding. The people were backsliding. The people were backsliding. And so I started looking at it and began to just really pray about it and say, okay, God, what are you saying? It became an alarming thing, and I started noticing. It's a dangerous situation. Now, this is the position of the intercessor. The alarm went off to say that this intercede concerning this, because what really happens is, if one, you were connected, say per se, like to the house, and that was the thing that you were connected to, and you were no longer able to get there, well, okay, that was going to bring a level of exposure to say that I was only just, the building. You heard conversations where people are more caught up in the building than what they are in the presence of God. So it was going to bring a level of exposure in any of the areas. Next thing was from the position of the pastor. From being a pastor, I could sense the danger of not being able to have a quote unquote hand on hand relationship with the sheep. The danger. And I haven't really spoke to many pastors, because I just don't, but I want to say I did speak to one, and we were talking about that, and it was very dangerous in the context of people not being able to have that connection thing. It's so many different ways that you can look at this when it flows. Some folk, when you're dealing with things like this, that's why I really try to not do panel discussions, but I felt led to do this one tonight. It was okay to do this one. Most people, you're going to have a different perspective on it. See, some people say when folk are connected to their leaders, some folk call them that they just trying to gain the attention of the leader, or they're trying to be the pet, all that little type of stuff, when really a lot of times they're just trying to develop. They're just trying to glean. They're just trying to grow. They're doing a Samuel and an Eli. They're doing an Elisha and an Elijah. They're doing a Paul and a Timothy, that type of stuff. And they're just trying to grow. So they have to have that bonded connection in order for them to be able to develop. Well, then on the other scale, you would have some that would say, well, I don't have to have that. I got my own relationship with God. I don't have to have that. That doesn't, I don't have to go to a building. That doesn't bother me, because I serve God in my heart. I got God down in my heart. It's just so it's kind of controversial, and that's why I wanted to talk about it, because it's controversial. From what I have gathered and what I've seen, and this is Delphine. This is me from what I've seen with this, y'all. I've watched those people that have said those things, such as, well, I got God in my heart, so I don't have to go in a building. I don't have to, I don't have to this, I don't have to that. And just by watching them, it's I'm trying to look for the right word to say. It's not too good, It's not too good. To me, it defies everything that the scripture teaches. It defies the order and the protocol of God. Now, I can understand on a scale of that God uses everything. He's aware of everything. He is. And I understand that. I see that. But my take this is me as a pastor. It's important that the people of God have that place to fellowship with their shepherd. It's important. Shepherds were put in position for a reason. And because of this pandemic, I don't believe that it has moved or removed the position of the shepherd in people's lives. I don't see that. I have, I'm so connected to the people that the Lord has placed for me to pastor that I can literally, and they'll tell you, I can sense and know when there is something that is going on. It's really like when Jesus said, if he has 100 sheep in the pasture, and if one goes astray, how he would leave the 90 and the 9. So you could say, well, how is it that he's aware of every one of those 100 sheep? Well, it's because they are covenantly connected. So when one goes astray, something happens with that one. He becomes alert. He knows that there is some type of disconnect that has taken place. We need to be shepherded. We need it. On another token, I've been looking and I've been searching this out to see, which was the reason why 2 Chronicles 7 was the scripture that I chose, where he talked about his house. And in talking about his house, I have asked him, if it's not important concerning the house of God, why did you have one built? Why did you have one built? So these are things that I have been pondering in my heart. Why is it that it would say, I was glad when they said unto me, let us go to the house of the Lord? Why? Why was it in the scripture that it says, forsake not the assembling of thyselves together? Why? Why was any of that put into place if it was to not be important? If it was, to really not matter, and if it was something that, we really didn't have to do? Why was it strategically put in place? Why was the temple so important that God wouldn't even allow David to build it? He waited to Solomon to allow Solomon to be able to do it, and why did it have to be so precise in the structure of how it was designed if it was not important? Why was it that Jesus went into the temple, overthrew the tables and all when they were in there gambling and all, if it was not important? If it was a place where the doors were to be closed, was it to teach us a lesson to reverence it? Or was it an attack, a subtle attack of the enemy in order to draw us out? I'm just a little bit concerned, y'all. This is my take on it. I'm concerned. I'm concerned. The intercessor is concerned, and the pastor is concerned because of the potential danger that I see. Now, what I believe has kept me is because of the simple fact that I keep myself busy as it relates to the things of God. I struck up a nightcap, at 9 o'clock. Well, my nightcap was going to require that I spend time in the word of the Lord, because it gives me an outlet to minister to the people of God. I am someone that is called on a regular basis. So that means I'm always giving out of myself and having to take in. But what about the people that are not doing that? What about the people that don't do a daily ministry? Where are they now? What's going on with them? I tell you what some of them are doing. Some of them watching TV a whole lot now. They're not praying. They're not praying. They're watching more TV. They are finding themselves just slipping away as it relates to things. That's the conversations that I've been having with people that have been honest about admitting where they are and what has happened to them during this time. So that's why I wanted to talk about it and being honest about the take of it. I've given y'all both my sides as an intercessor and giving you my side as it relates to as a pastor, and the questions that I have posed before the Spirit of God, because this is stuff that I have really posed before God. I've talked to him concerning this. I've seen it. Sad to say, I've seen it even among the people that I pastor. And I don't have this huge, congregation, or however you would say. But I've seen some of them falling. Just the truth of the matter. And the analogy that I used was okay, if you are just coming in, you are really way more subject to be in trouble. Because you don't have any footing yet. there's not any bearing to you yet. So you are really, you know, in a real y'all hear my heart as a pastor. I'm telling you, you are really in a dangerous place if you are just now coming in. Say you just the pandemic hit in March. Say you just got saved in February. You just turned your life over to the Lord in February. You already just running off of zeal, because that's what the scripture teaches, that we have a zeal but not according to knowledge. It's what it says. So you just now coming in, and then boom, they close the doors. Is there enough inside of that person? Y'all talk to me tonight. Is there enough inside of that person to keep them? Or do they need to have that relationship in order to be established and to be built? I'm just wondering, is this God, or how are we to appropriately handle this for real? Y'all talk to me.
Without someone to stay encouraged, then they're gonna need somebody. Somebody they're gonna have to stay close to someone in fellowship, or they're gonna have to be in the fellowship sanctuary. There's just no other way around it because it's too easy to go back. I remember when you first started teaching, and you were teaching on sheep are dumb, sheep are stupid, how the Bible compared us back to sheep, because sheep would constantly go and find themselves back in the same place that the shepherd has already pulled them out of, and it sometimes even happens to those who are more seasoned per se, when they let their guards down. So definitely for someone who is of a weaker stance, they need all they can get.
Okay. Anybody else? Y'all talk about it. Speak on it tonight. Come on, y'all. Don't be ashamed to say something. Speak on it. Tell the truth. Where you at? Where you at? Locate yourself. Identify yourself. Where you at?
I agree with what Sharika was saying regarding, someone just coming in. Um, they wouldn't have enough willpower. They wouldn't have enough staying power to do it alone. They would need the people um, accountable. Having them held accountable. Just like if somebody was on drugs or something like that, and they didn't have anywhere to go to help them, they will fall back into the trap of the enemy. So they will need that. And for as what you were saying, I'm so glad that you broke that down as intercessor, pastor, and everything, because you're so much and so different. And for me, as an intercessor, it scared me because all I know is church. All I know is church. All my life, church. Little girl, that's all I know. And to have that break to go back, and it made me go back. It was really a little scary. So we need that accountability. We need that, like I said, we need that order. But yes, that person that's just going in new, when it's just like leaving them out to the wolves.
Okay. Anybody else? Pastor Sanders, you got anything? Anybody else? What you got? Anybody else got anything? Y'all just leave me out here like this, boy. I won't ever have anybody that will just, just. I don't know what it is, y'all. Just. Oh boy. I started not to show up for my own panel discussion. Maybe then it would have been some conversation.
There's power in unity.
Well, let me just say, let my trump's this I know it's been kind of cut it off. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So let me just say that I'm more focused. My mind now is on when things open